What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Investing Bros. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever it is for you. Got a great show lined up for you guys today. Got a lot of topics. Got a notepad. You know, when a notepad comes out, that's when legitimate things get discussed because real business gets done on the blockchain and paper, I guess. This crypto show, so I lost my point. Anyway, things we got to discuss today. If you guys are excited about the show, we will be breaking down Kaspa's chart. Kaspa showing some signs of life real quick. Take a look at that chart. If you have not seen it, there it is. Kaspa taking a little bit of a run this morning. I'm going to show you guys some other coins that are looking like they have some good breakout potential coming. There's going to be a lot of coins with breakout coming, but there's a couple of them that I'm identifying on the charts that look extremely interesting, so we'll cover those. Also, an extremely bullish price prediction from somebody who affiliates with Warren Buffett. If you didn't know much about Warren Buffett, not a Bitcoin guy, right? But one of his so-called or self-identified disciples is calling for a $500,000 Bitcoin. I had to break it down there that simply so we know exactly where we're going. $500,000 of Bitcoin from a Warren Buffett guy. I'm interested. We're going to look into what that is about. Biden, of course, over the weekend made some more decisions when it comes to crypto regulation, siding with his good buddy Gary Gensler. Are we finding out more details behind the scenes of the connections happening there? I think we are. And the last thing we're going to talk about, GME and AMC having a little bit of a pause this morning. Is that good for the whole crypto space? Is that bad? This is the Investing Bros. Long intro. Here goes our song. All right, here we go. No T-Shroom today. In case you guys did not know, T-Shroom this weekend, the reason we didn't have a Friday or Saturday afternoon show was because he's no longer single, ladies. Sorry. I warned you for weeks. I gave you a couple of hours warning last week, but you were too late. He's off the market. So officially, the Investing Bros no longer eligible for any future relationships. We're locked up for life. Sorry about it. Sorry about it. He is enjoying some time with his new wife, Amanda. So shout out to him and Amanda. Got to go to the ceremony. And we're going to get into crypto here in a second. But for those who know T-Shroom, you've been watching for a while, the ceremony went about exactly how you would expect a T-Shroom wedding to go. I don't need to go that far into it for you to understand. The guy's one large goofball with everything he does in life. His wedding was no exception. And I can tell you assuredly right now, ladies and gentlemen, he is doing way better than he deserves. Post-wedding hype. He'll be back with us next week, next Wednesday, I believe. But blessings and what's the other words I'm looking for? Blessings and good wishes to T-Shroom and his bride. You're stuck with me again for about a week and a half. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. Let's get into the market open, and then we're gonna get into some of those stories. Starting off with Kaspa. But you guys know when it's a Tim show, we're going to have more TA. We're going to have more Q&A. I have no one to go bounce back and forth off of. That's okay, though. It's going to be you and me right here. Lock eyes. Lock eyes with me right here. You and me. We're going to handle all the problems of the world today. Let's get into what's happening with our crypto bubbles here, starting off with the good stuff. Kaspa, it was up at 17 a second ago, so a little bit down there. But Kaspa leading the way. Some other coins doing some interesting stuff, though. A lot of memes in the world going up. Floki up 16%. Dog up 14%. Whiff up 8%. Athena's not a meme coin right here, 11% up, but it's doing very, very well. You do have Brett over here, which is another meme, down 11%, but it also had a pretty fantastic week last week. Speaking of another coin that had a fantastic week, not coin. Similar and in the same relationship with Ton Coin. So they had a lot of hype there. Not today, though. Wait, it just update. Did it just go from like a negative 11% to green 4.6 as I'm talking about it? What a coin. What a coin right there. That's kind of the big news here in the top 100 big movers. Not a lot of big losers for the day, though. It's a green day overall. Look at TIA and ChainLink, two of our two coins that the channel here loves, are down, but not a lot. Only 4.3 for TIA after they've had a good run here yesterday, I do believe, and then ChainLink has made a run last week, so it's okay when they cool off. Let's take a look at the top 10. see what's kind of happening with them. Bitcoin the last 24 hours, back above 69. We actually got above 70K. We'll look at the Bitcoin charts here later on in the show. But still up 2% on the day. That Bitcoin dominance creeping back up over 54%. I told you guys, whereas before I was very confident about 60% dominance for Bitcoin. I'm losing confidence, but we keep defending. You know, we can drop a little bit before 54%. We keep defending that zone. So it's not over yet. There is a chance. We'll dive into that on the Bitcoin charts, but well, you know, we'll address that there. Ethereum, one of the reasons why the Bitcoin dominance is up is Bitcoin up 2%, Ethereum only up 0.11, right? So Ethereum pretty much even, kind of wrestling with that $3,800 area almost all weekend. So I would say to see the next leg of the Bitcoin dominance being over, we need to see the next big push for Ethereum, and they got a lot of reasons to do it. So we'll kind of watch that one. BNB up 4.2%. That looks like our biggest gainer of the top 10. It is. We have some other gainers, though. Solana up 1.8%. XRP up 1.2%. Dogecoin up 2.8%. Cardano back up to number 9, beating out Toncoin barely by about $100 billion in market cap. Sorry, not 100 billion. 100 million. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. 100 million. Numbers are important here. Back up to number 9 right there. Toncoin again drops to number 10. Sheeb and AVAX right outside that top 10. And ChainLink continuing to defend that number 13 spot from Polkadot. I love all of these. Man, I'm telling you right now, I think it's, I don't own any Toncoin. I will say I don't own any Toncoin or BNB, but everything else here in almost the top 15. Great holds, I think, for this bull market. Let's go ahead. Let's jump into the charts. Now, normally, before we do that, but normally we jump right into Bitcoin TA. And you know what? We're going to do some experimentation over the next week and a half. With it just being me, no T-Shroom here, no normal things. We're going to try some things with the show. You got to let me know if you like it or you don't like it. One of the things is we normally start off with Bitcoin TA, but because, again, on my trusty notepad right here, it's not point number 1. We're going to start off with our Kaspa TA and then take a look at some coins that I'm big on. When we get to the Bitcoin section, then we'll do Bitcoin TA. And that's what I'm kind of thinking in the future. Let me know. Give me feedback on this. Saving TA for sections. We might have like 3 or 4 sections per show, and we'll save the TA for a coin in that section. I'll do Q&A along the way as well. But because we have Bitcoin section, we're not going to do Bitcoin TA right off the bat. Let me know in the chat. Do you guys love it? Do you hate it? Am I stupid for having that decision? Let's go ahead and look at Kaspa. Now, Thoro is saying, I like Bitcoin TA first. So, Thoro, he's not sure if he's a fan just yet, but stick with me, Thoro. Maybe you'll like it. You got to give it the rest of the show before you really know if you like it or not. Kaspa is exploding. Before I turn on any other indicators right now, it is great seeing Kaspa back up above 16 cents. And the truth is, guys, there's not necessarily even a major reason for this. Like you would think maybe, did they have some massive listing? Unless it snuck under the radar, and I have no idea about it. I have not heard about a Binance or Coinbase listing for Kaspa. No, guys, I think this is just it's more bullish because we're starting to rally even though we aren't getting that kind of a news. Now, again, all-time high, we're looking at 19 cents, give or take, for Kaspa before we get to that all-time high conversation. But I saw a tweet that I thought talked about this very well from a guy named Plan. I'm assuming that's K. It looks like the Kaspa symbol right there. Kaspa was behaving exactly as expected. The power law held perfectly. The bottom is in, and we now have entered the first stage of the 8-month cycle. So he's talking now about within a he's got an 8-month cycle actually based off of Kaspa, not based off of Bitcoin, the 4-year cycle. His hypothesis here is that Kaspa has its own 8-month cycle, and you guys can see he kind of details for us some touches of this lower band. We'll pull that up full screen in a second. This part of the cycle is historically given the highest returns, which is why I'm expecting a 40-cent plus in the next 2 months. You guys can see here these bands. Of course, we started a little below it here, but these bands he's kind of have a compelling case for 8 months cycle of touching these lower bands, coming up and hitting the higher band, rejecting. We've seen that happen multiple times. This most recent dip, once again, kind of touching that lower orange band. I will say this is an interesting chart. Just kind of showing it to you guys. I don't know how much I fully agree with it necessarily. I think Kaspa, this chart, as you guys can see, it's slowly but surely becoming less explosive. I think some of the most explosive days for Kaspa are ahead of it. I think when we hit true alt season later on this year, we'll break up well above this band. But you see here his hypothesis of 40 cents is right in that range, and it's really hard to see on your guys' end. But if you trust me, that says 44. The green says 44 cents. The red says 46 cents. I think that's just the beginning. I think when Kaspa really breaks out, it goes much higher. But let's see what my charts are saying about Kaspa. You're not going to see too much on the daily chart because we're still waiting for the full information to come in. But as I come to these lower charts, I'm loving this increased volume coming in on Kaspa. Again, we're reaching volumes that we have not seen since way back dip back on April 13th. And this time, instead of that volume being bearish, kind of saying, hey guys, that's low enough, let's bounce right here, this volume is simply the confirmation purchases that the bulls are back on Kaspa. They're excited. Again, do I know why? No. I don't. And if you guys know, if you guys who follow Kaspa news, like maybe you just watch Kaspa's Twitter handles like a hawk, if there was something done that I'm missing because I scrolled through, I didn't see anything, let me know in the comments. Love to change my mind. But I almost think this is so bullish because there isn't necessarily any real bullish catalyst. It's just the whales said, all right, good enough. It's time to go. Let's do it. By the way, before I go too much further, I'm going back to the charts. Shout out, you guys see in chat, a Susan Ashrum. That would be T-Shroom's mom. Even though I'd had phone conversations with her before, never met the woman before this weekend. Got to meet the Mama Shrum. Amazing woman. Congratulations to her whole family on sending her son off. But you guys see Susan Shrum in chat. Show her some love. She's part of the family here at Investing Bros. Shout out to you, Mama Shrum. Let's get back in and let's talk about maybe what Lux is seeing here on Kaspa. Let's pull up our indicators. Now, here on the 4-hour chart, exploding. We broke up through our take profit signals. You come over to the daily chart. In fact, we're actually going through the daily ones as well. That's even further confirms just how bullish and explosive Kaspa is right now. With that said, take this with a grain of salt under the meanings that we could see some form of a pullback. It would not be the end of the world. It's just something, especially as we kind of broke through this morning. We wrestled with it yesterday. We broke through this former high right here on 14.8 cents. Could we pull back to that level, turn it into support? There's a possibility. We definitely have very strong support on the long term right here around 12.6 cents, where we have a nice breaker block in the daily smart trail coming in as confluence. But I will say I'm going to be very surprised if we have to fall back that far. Let's take a look at what our oscillators are saying here, and they are all over the place, so forgive me while I fix these for just a second. But I'm seeing a lot of reasons to remain bullish here on the daily chart. I'll check the 4-hour chart here as well, but very bullish bounce off the 50 on Stochastics RSI. We are seeing a 90% overbought on the RSI, and we're very high up at the 70 mark. But for anyone who's done RSI analysis, you know 70 is not the end of it. You absolutely could go a lot higher than that, pushing closer towards 100. So I'm not freaking out just yet. MACD showing some acceleration on the MACD oscillator. A lot of room above us. We can keep on pumping. And then, of course, we get over here to the premium version of LuxAlgo, and a lot of reasons. We just turned positive in money flow. We're bullish under momentum with a lot of room to the upside with our oscillators. Did we get a red reversal triangle here the other day? Yep. But guess what? That has been debunked by our recent bullish movement. So a lot of signs to be bullish right now. Let's look at that 4-hour chart, what it is saying. A lot more reasons to potentially look for a cool off on these ones. Again, Stochastics is overextended. RSI coming in up here at 87, definitely overextended. The MACD still high, not showing any signs of turning over, but our LuxAlgo oscillator is showing. We got a red dot that came in. We have a rounding of our oscillator. Money flow still positive, but if we see the bearish dot come in and a rounding off of money flow, we could see a little bit of a pullback. Like I said earlier, back down. This order block is actually coming in around 14 cents on the 4-hour chart. Would make sense if we came back that far in the future, but ultimately, I'm not going to be waiting on that number. To me, if you're asking me right now, based off of my analysis I just did, Tim, where are you looking at Kaspa and feeling like you would buy if we pull back a little bit? To me, I like this red line right here around 14.8. Again, it's going to be a former resistance level way back in December and November of 2023. I think that's a level that after we kind of blasted through it here again, we could be pulling back to that level. Keyword is could here, guys. I'm not saying it definitely will. I'm just saying if I'm looking to add to my Kaspa bags, that's where I'm going to do it. Do we go lower? Maybe, but I'm not necessarily going to be betting on it. Put a 1 in chat if you already have Kaspa. Put a 3 in chat if you don't have enough. Now, we're going to take a pause on Kaspa. If we have questions about it, we'll come back. But now it's time to talk about, and I didn't mean to hit that like that. Now it's time to talk about other coins, other altcoins that I think look primed and ready for a breakout. I want to preface this by saying this: if I'm not going to talk about a coin, does not mean I don't think those coins can pop off too. I was just doing some TA on multiple coins that I like to do TA on today, and I noticed there were 3 coins outside of Kaspa that look really, really good. In fact, Kaspa's already pumped out. It's already broken out. I'm actually now looking for maybe a fallback on Kaspa, retest some form of resistance, turn into support. That'd be awesome. These coins I'm about to bring up, I believe, look like they're in great spots for potential bounces, so could be interesting to keep an eye on maybe picking up some more of those today. Let's talk about coin numero uno on that list, and that coin's name would be ICP. ICP. You know, when we were little, we played that game iCup with the kids and made them feel embarrassed. Good for ICP of leaving out the U, causing a lot of people to feel like getting flashbacks to their childhood and being very embarrassed. It's crazy that when we're little kids, we get embarrassed by things like that, by spelling out iCup. But it is what it is. ICP coming in here, back down at a level of support we've been tracking for a while. You guys see these blue zones. This is a little bit of a bullish pennant that I've been tracking on ICP now for a minute. But when you zoom into maybe a shorter time frame, going back over here to April 21st, now you're starting to see a symmetrical triangle pattern play out down here. Now, some people are going to say, Tim, shouldn't this be a bearish symmetrical triangle pattern? To which I might say, you know what? Let's take out any type of logic, any type of reasoning, any type of thinking. Yes, you could make an argument for why this formation should break out to the downside. Well, the reason why is because entering this formation, the price of ICP was bearish. Now, I don't really like this because there's an argument you could even maybe loop in some of this price action into this triangle. But at the end of the day, if you want to make that argument, you can make that argument. However, I think it'd be a bad thing to do. We've seen recently things like ChainLink have bearish price action down into a symmetrical triangle pattern and then break to the upside. I believe DOT did the exact same thing, and it's wrestling with it. Yeah. Bearish price action, symmetrical triangle pattern, bullish breakout. We're working right now kind of retesting that level of resistance into support. DOT is not on my list here, but honestly, probably should take a look at DOT too. Looks like it could be ready for a breakout. But let's start off ICP. ICP sitting on its support level, 2 different significant support levels. And when you start to bring up the other indicators here, we'll start oscillator, stochastics, super low. RSI been wrestling with that 50, but it looks like it wants to make another push to the upside. MACD is about to cross bullish right there here on the daily chart. It's slim, but it's about to cross bullish. And then you come over here, and we're seeing the signs start to develop. The money flow kind of hovering here in the red, but wants to curve over and move to the upside. Same with the oscillator. We recently have had our bullish divergences. We've had bullish things in play. I believe that this could be another sign here on the daily chart, which is amazing when you see bullish analysis on the daily chart. To get you kind of warmed up and ready for this. I'm seeing some signs there on top of the fact that we're sitting on major support to say that I do think we could see a major breakout to the upside. We're also sitting on top of a fat order block right here. And yes, we got a bearish print here yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple of days ago. We've made no bearish movement since that print. I think this is one of those classic sell orders right at the bottom. It was not able to break through when it was right there in the perfect spot to do it. So therefore, I'm not necessarily paying attention to that sell order at the moment. There's so many more reasons to be bullish. Even when you come down here to the lower time frames, there's a lot of reasons to be bullish right now. Again, bouncing off of order blocks. Look at the oscillators here as well. You guys can see here starting to pick up momentum to cross the 50 on RSI. And I think right here we are seeing the signs. Well, we didn't really get a bullish resisted or a bullish reversal call, but we are seeing overwhelmingly positive money flow and positive oscillator action right here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But as a whole, I am watching ICP like a hawk, definitely sitting on some strong support. And whenever I see this on the daily chart, I see those symbols on the oscillators kind of flashing bullish. that does make me want to scoop up some more ICP for a little bit of run. I'm going to hold off and wait for a little bit of confirmation right here because you could see a break to the downside. However, especially if I start to see candles on the 4-hour chart above this red line. Let's go back over there. If I start to see candles closing above this 4-hour chart, to me, I feel very, very good about a run up, even possibly back up towards $20 here. That is the high on ICP so far this cycle. That's just the beginning, but I think we start to head back up towards that level. That's coin number one that I'm watching right now, that even though it's low, there's a lot of signs a breakout to the upside could be happening. Number two, and I'm choosing these coins based off of technical analysis. Some of you guys might not like the projects, and that's completely fine. The next one I'm going to tell you guys is one that recently has had some news that makes it like a, I don't want to say this coin is terrible, but I just didn't love the news that came out. However, I do love what the chart looks like right now, and that chart would be H-bar. That's Hedera for anyone who's looking and wondering what H-bar is. H-bar coming down, giving us a nice little bounce right here, right back on a level of support that we've been wrestling with here on 9 cents. Yes, we had a big dip back in April below it, but then you can see we came right back up and started using this level as defense once again here on H-bar. What was the kind of catalyst for all this? Well, this is kind of what I'm discussing right here. We dropped down super low here, bounced way up on a fake report that BlackRock had like hand-picked H-bar to do its real-world asset exchanges. It turns out that wasn't necessarily the truth. There's an element of the truth where they'd hired a company that had chosen H-bar to use their stuff. Ultimately, we kind of just broke that back down even and kind of solidified that right below 10 cents, that 9-cent region on H-bar is a very strong level of support. Let's see what we're seeing on the indicators. Now, here on the daily chart, we did get a sell order here just a little bit ago, but this is one of those sell orders that I always watch for a potential bounce on the smart trail. And sure enough, as we're coming back down to this yellow line, which again was strong support here for a while after it was strong resistance back in January, we're seeing some confluence of support come in at that 9-cent, 10-cent region. Let's see what the oscillators are saying here. You guys are seeing stochastics RSI after bottoming out and just laying on the floor is now starting to show signs of life moving back to the upside. Same thing with our normal RSI, our MACD after being red now for a while. This is the daily chart, weeks here, looking to turn back pink. You see the MACD line starting to curve back and go to the upside. And then, of course, you have this little number right here where technically the money flow is still sideways. But after being negative, that sideways is an early sign that we could be moving back to the upside. We got our green dot. We got our green momentum. This could be that trifecta, the perfect signal to enter a long here on H-bar. And again, it's doing all this sitting right on a nice level of double support around that 10-cent region. Coin number three, ICP H-bar. Coin number three that I'm watching right now, I love what the chart looks like, is Stacks. Stacks protocol. I don't even know Stacks protocol. I'm just saying Stacks protocol. Stacks, the Bitcoin layer 2, the number one Bitcoin layer 2, looking like it wants to get ready to pump out of a falling wedge pattern. Falling wedge patterns are historically extremely bullish. We looked like we might have wanted to do it back here on the 27th, maybe even a chance back here on the 21st. Well, the time is running out. We can only go so far before finally it's time to make a decision up or down. Guess what? More often than not, these formations go to the upside. And with the rest of the crypto space looking like it wants to more push to the upside, you got to assume that Stacks is going to be in a similar situation. You start to pull up some of the indicators here. Again, LuxAlgo not necessarily yet calling for it. In fact, LuxAlgo actually showing us signs of potential resistance in play. However, when I come down to the oscillators for LuxAlgo, lots of reasons to be bullish right here. Stochastics RSI, bullish. You guys can see it. Bottomed out right there, coming up very nicely. RSI approaching back down, back up towards that 50. After a little bit of bearishness here on MACD, the MACD is again looking to push to the upside. And then we come in here and we see the trifecta. We actually have the flash we need to go ahead and want to enter a long here on Stacks. Why? Well, there's actually 4 things. I want 3 things on this oscillator to buy. I'm getting 4 bullish things. Number 1, green reverse dot. You'll love it. Number 2, the green momentum flash on the oscillator, moving back to the upside. You'll love it. The money flow crossing back above that red line right there, which is the bearish trend. What do we call it? The bearish. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's a bearish line. You want to get back above that. So we have positive money flow, positive reversal, positive momentum. And then after having an excessive amount of sellers in the space, they have dropped off a cliff. Again, we made that scenario, that kind of a analogy of if you were to take a basketball and you hold it underwater, the minute you release it, that basketball shoots out. It's kind of the same thing when you have an excessive amount of sellers. That means they're excessively putting negative pressure on the price. But when they leave, boom, you can see an explosion in price. And again, when you match that with what we're looking at here in our falling wedge pattern, again, LuxAlgo has not caught up. Although LuxAlgo did hit this most recent bearish call, this bearish prediction right here probably had a price prediction somewhere down here towards 211. This is its secondary one, so I do not read into those that heavily. I do, though, want to see us get above this level right here, and I'm going to clean this up. Let's put a line right there where our smart trail is, where we have an order block, and let's turn LuxAlgo off for a second. That is going to be a level of resistance. When we start to make a move to the upside, guys, watch out for 237. $2.37 will be resistance. However, I do think that this formation can, when we break out, make a push up here. Keep an eye on potentially somewhere around $3.20, $3.19. That should be our breakout prediction for stacks. When it does go to the upside, we'll have to keep an eye out for it, though. Bullish on those coins. Let's go ahead and check in with some chat before we get into our next conversation. Again, if you're just joining, we are changing up a little bit. I have not done any Bitcoin TA. The next section, the next topic we're going to be discussing has to do with Bitcoin. We'll do Bitcoin TA right then. But we have talked about a couple of altcoins that are looking very, very good for some entries. Keep those posted. Ryan Harvey keeps saying Ondo. Now, Ryan, please don't spam. That's one thing. Love you. Love that you're here. Love that you're a fan of the show. Don't spam. I see you. And I do love me some Ondo. I just made a video on it last week, giving a price prediction for the bull market. Ondo's up here. We've talked about this one before on the channel. I made a longer-term price prediction. I also made a shorter-term price prediction. We've hit the conservative price prediction for Ondo's breakout of the symmetrical triangle pattern already. That was up here at $1.43. That conservative price prediction had to do with the opening of this symmetrical triangle pattern. So that prediction, boom, it's finished, accomplished. The question is, will we see potentially the more aggressive one? Like if this was, you know how you kind of manipulate the screen. If this was a bull pennant, could we see potentially the price of Ondo make its way up closer to $2, around $1.92? We'll have to wait and see on that. But let's check out some of the things that it's saying. Again, breaking out to the upside, having the last 2 days are blue here. That's bearish. I have to imagine we're sitting under a spot of more. I think a pullback would be probably needed. You do see the smart trail down here at 102. You have an order block here at 112. Not the strongest one in the world necessarily, but it is there in play. Let's see what the 4 hour is saying here for that one. We did on the 4 hour chart actually just print after hitting our original take profit. You guys can see here again, sell order way down here, but the stop loss is higher. If you ever are using LuxAlgo and the stop loss is above the buy signal, that means that's not the first take profit. That's the second one. It already hit the original take profit. So again, I kind of always take those second ones with a grain of salt. Now I'm seeing this sell order come in. That kind of, to me, is indicating 127, 125, smart trail and a breaker block coming in. That seems like a decent little area if you're looking to pick up some more Ondo. Not guaranteeing that's the bottom. We could go lower, but it definitely is a level that you will see a lot of other people buying in at. Can the Bears break through? Can the Bulls hold? That's the question. But 126, 127 area looks like a decent area. I would predict with a good amount of certainty we will see the price come back down to that level based off of what I'm seeing right here. I'm pretty sure if I pull up these oscillators, look at these oscillators. You guys can already see stochastics has been working its way down for a while. RSI heading back down towards the 50, but has a ways to go. Within this last 4 hour candle, we got a bearish MACD cross. And then you come over here and you're looking at our oscillators, and we have the trifecta: bearish reversal, bearish dot, and bearish money flow. So again, a short on Ondo. I'm not going to, how much? Let's see. If this is more than like 5%, it might be worth my time. Let's see here now. Oh, I see. It's right at 585. Should I enter short live on the show? Let's do it. Let's do it for kicks and giggles. Guys, if you don't have a trading exchange, BloFin is the partner here on the channel. And I'm going to show you guys how easy it is while I'm talking to you, how easy it is to enter a short. We're going to enter a short right now on Ondo. I'm going to put a 5X on there because I'm looking for 5%. 5 times 5, that's 25. Let's make a nice little 25% profit here, guys. I'm going to go with, I'm not going to leave them. Let's just do like a $200 or so dollar. Yeah, $212. I'm going to do a $212 short. I'm going to enter that. Boom. Now, you can enter a take profit and stop loss before. Sometimes I like to just, especially if I'm not waiting for a limit, I'm just going to go ahead and enter it like that. I know my take profit, though. Now that I'm in this trade already, I can enter my take profit. Take profit, I said 27 cents, 127, right? 1.27. Let's see what that $66 is, what I stand to gain right there. I do have to come back and take a look, though. Let's enter this the right way and make sure I get a good stop loss, because the number one rule of entering trades is you make sure you set yourself a good stop loss. I need a 2% one. 2% is going to put me somewhere around, what is that? $1.38 is going to be my stop loss. Let's do it. $1.38. Got to come back in here. Take profit. There we go. All right. There we go, guys. Live trade entry. I'm going to try to gain $66. I'm only risking 21. Not that bad of a trade setup. Let's see. Maybe that even hits by the end of the show. Whew, there's your Ondo TA. It's probably going to be time to go ahead and jump into the next topic. Before we do that, though, and I've not done this just yet, we got some people in here. Got over 250 people in here. A tighter show. Not as many family members as we're used to, but make sure, if you're not already, smash that like button. What are we sitting at right now? We got 250 people in here watching right now. We only have 74 likes. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Easy thing to go ahead and get above that level. Smash that like button. If you're enjoying the channel and you just now found us, make sure to hit subscribe as well. It's time to talk about Bitcoin. It's time to talk about Bitcoin and an interesting prediction that was made by a person who he claims to be a disciple of Warren Buffett. Now, before I get into the article, and then we're going to do TA, Warren Buffett historically has called Bitcoin worthless. He historically has said he doesn't want anything to do with it, that it's rat poison. He wouldn't buy it even if you gave him every single Bitcoin on the planet for $25. Long story short, he hates Bitcoin. So how a disciple of his could be bullish on Bitcoin, let alone make an outrageously bullish price prediction, is beyond me. But that's exactly what we have today. Warren Buffett disciple makes the case for a $500,000 Bitcoin price by October of 2025. Why is that? Well, there's some things that right off the bat I will acknowledge that I think he's doing a good job. He's acknowledging the 4-year cycle. We're going to see that if you read through the article. But he's acknowledging that the top should come in October. So I give him points for that. Some people don't think that that's when the top will happen. Some people have no idea when the top of Bitcoin could happen. They just think it's going to be up and to the right with no pullbacks whatsoever. That's not how these things work. So point number one for him, his name is Chamath Palihapitiya. Oh, yeah. Let's from this. Palihapitiya. Chamath Palihapitiya. Guarantee I'm wrong on that. Right? Not a chance that that's the right pronunciation. It is phonetically, though, how it's said. So we're going to rock with it. He's the founder of Social Capital and co-owner of the Golden State Warriors. RIP the Golden State Warriors. They're falling off a cliff. They were a dynasty. They were doing so well, but I do think their days are done until they find someone else. Steph, you changed the league. Good for you, but your reign is over. The billionaire entrepreneur who first invested in Bitcoin in 2012. So again, he early investor here. So got to give him some credit here. Before I disagree with his take too much, he understands the 4-year cycle pretty well. He's been investing in it since 2012. So he saw those signs before whatever else was calling it crazy or ignoring it. He was investing. So you got to give that something, right? He's a Warren Buffett disciple, indicated that he sees the price of Bitcoin rising massively following the April halving event, with $500,000 being a realistic target for him. All right. Interesting. Let's keep reading on here. According to, we're just calling P because I'm not saying that again. According to P, the main argument is Bitcoin's historical pattern after the halvings. The fourth Bitcoin reward halving in April slashed the new Bitcoin issuance rate to 3.125 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, triggering significant interest and speculation. So again, he's kind of identifying here the main reason for his belief is the 4-year cycle. All right, that's interesting. I'll address it, but let's keep going on. 18 months after the first halving in 2012, the price of Bitcoin saw massive 45x returns. Yep. The alpha crypto registered almost 28x returns in post 2016. Excuse me, and almost 8x returns in post 2020 halving. As such, it's not a question of whether the Bitcoin price will rocket after the April 2024 halving, but rather by how much. I agree with him. All right. So the question of if is not the big question. The question is how much. We're on the same level here, Mr. P. Now, I want you to realize something before we move too much farther. Notice the diminishing returns here, though. Notice that at first, back in 2012, post having 45x. Then in 2016, 28x. All right, so pretty significant drop there. Then in 2020, 8x. Very significant drop. Do we think that number is going to go up or down here post halving? I think the mathematics say we should continue to think that those gains get less and less. Let's keep going, though. Mr. P thinks that this halving is distinct. He thinks that this halving is distinct from prior ones because of the dramatic increase in capital coming into the market because of the commercialization of Bitcoin after the January ETF approval. So he's making the case this one's special because of the ETFs. I agree with him on that. So you have a reduction of supply to the halving itself, coupled with the increased demand from the spot exchange traded funds. Basic economic principles suggest this should result in a higher price ahead. 100% agree with you, Mr. P. The combined capital in the 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs has already surpassed 50% of the asset under management in gold, a feat accomplished in a fraction of the time it took for the precious metals to hit in its current status over 20 years. Moreover, the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist, around 5% currently belongs in ETFs. That was cool. I did not know that piece of information. That's interesting. Then ultimately, he just closes up. Bitcoin's price could hit 500,000 by October 2025 if it mimics historical patterns displayed during the past and post-halving cycles. All right. Now we addressed. There's a lot of things in here I agree with Chamath, Mr. P. I'm not saying his last name anymore. That just hurts me. I agree with him on a lot of things. $500,000, though, is where I probably have to draw the line of where I agree and disagree. Let's talk about why it is. We're going to get into the Bitcoin TA. But we got to start off with the macro conversation here. And I do have to drink some water because I feel my throat getting a little dry. And we are a channel that very much proposes and supports hydration. And when you have a mustache, sometimes the water gets stuck there and you have to wipe it off. Some of you guys with beards and mustaches know my pain. All right, let's talk about why I think 500,000 is kind of a little bit too much to talk about in this cycle. Ultimately, what we would be looking for, actually, need to go to this chart over here, so forgive me. What we'd be looking for is darn near an exact repeat of what we saw in 2020. What am I talking about? Well, he kind of mentioned there an 8x. Let's talk about it. 8x is close. I mean, we're talking about more like a 7.3x. But you get my point here. What he's talking about here, for us to hit 500,000 because of the post-halving, we need to see a repeat, right? I just got to move this over. Take the same 635 from where we were when the halving event happened. That right there gives us a what price? 474. So actually, we have to outgain. We have to have a bigger return in this bull market post-halving than we did in the last one for 500,000 to hit. Remember, we talked about this, though, the diminishing, returns or diminishing gains on Bitcoin post-halving. Way back here in 2012, we saw 9,600% increase. Here in 2016, we saw 2,900. So, very, very different. I already showed you guys we saw 635. My guesstimation, and we've been consistent with this, guys, again, is that we're going to be probably closer to 200. We'll probably see somewhere like a 200 to 200 and 235. So 3x, right? We went from, remember, he said 45x to a 28x to an 8x. A 3x makes sense. Maybe a 4x. Maybe we get up closer to like almost 300, but not quite there. Maybe a 4x, and we half the 8x the last cycle. But you guys know how hard it is to continue to create those big, big X's. I mean, you got to remember the market cap of Bitcoin way back here when it 45x'd, the market cap was very small. And then it was a lot bigger, but still very small back here in 2018 or 2016. Very small, still small, bigger, but still small in 2020. And of course, now we're talking about going from already we're sitting at around a $1 trillion market cap. It takes a lot of money. I mean, $1 trillion is a lot of money. So even just a double is a lot of money. Back here, they only needed a couple billion to come in to, multi-X upward. So while I think this might be and I'm not might, it will be. While this will be the largest increase in Bitcoin holdings by a market cap standpoint by a mile, I do not think that we can say, like what Chamath is saying here, he's kind of speaking from a place that's like, hey, that doesn't quite make sense by saying, well, in 2020, we went up 630%. Therefore, I think we should again in this halving. That doesn't necessarily compute with consistency. So that's a reason why, again, and I think he mentions in the article that this should not be taken as financial advice. He's just saying he thinks it's possible. So he's defending himself there a little bit. I'm just saying it's not possible based off of the things that he said. If something else changed, then anything is possible. A $1 million Bitcoin could be possible, but I just don't think it's probable. And even 500,000, I think it's technically possible, but not probable. More realistically, a 3x from here up to about 200,000 is the most realistic expectation. Let me know in chat if you disagree. Do you like Chamath? Do you think he's right? I mean, he's been in Bitcoin for a while. He's watched these cycles. He's been studying things a lot longer than I have in the crypto world. However, just because you've been studying something longer does not necessarily mean you know more about it. I think that I'm closer to being right, but put a 1 in chat if you agree with Mr. Chamath, Mr. P. Put a 2 in chat if you agree with Tim. 500 is very improbable for the Bitcoin future. Let's take a look at what's happening here on the charts here with Bitcoin, though, before we leave the topic of Bitcoin. Now, we had a breakout this morning. We have pulled back. So a little bit of a fake out breakout on Bitcoin when it comes to the daily chart. What am I talking about here? Well, we've been under this symmetrical triangle pattern now for a while on Bitcoin. And this morning, you guys can see that wick right there. We broke above it. And that would have, if we get this breakout above, we're kind of taking a look around 75,000, give or take, for our target where we could break out to. That would be a new all-time high, a new high for this cycle, and would get us into this band I've talked about now for a while, that we could see price action kind of get up and hover between 70 and 71 if this breakout sustains up into this region. Kind of get to new highs and then come back and test these former highs as used to being resistance, now turn them into support. It technically is possible. But with our keel down today, this could just serve to be a little bit of a fake out, in which case that would continue to put us in the cards of saying, will this be a bearish breakout? And then we maybe see a $62,000 Bitcoin in the future. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want you guys to know that even though we broke out this morning and that looked like it was a great thing, we even had a 4-hour candle break above and close above that line. This move back down into the symmetrical triangle pattern puts it back into a question of, all right, which way are we going to go? Which way is the right way to go? So I'm going to leave this right here just in case we start to rally here again. I'm going to leave that right there for now, but we will have to monitor this the rest of this week. Don't be surprised. If Bitcoin falls back down below 68,000, comes back down to around 67.8, give or take, that's not the end of the world for Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. That is simply it coming back down to a strong level of support. It does not mean everything is over. If we start to lose that, I would almost say if we start to lose 66,000, we start to lose the wick we had back here on May 31st. Freak out's the wrong word because you guys should never freak out. You're going to get an awesome opportunity to buy more crypto at lower prices. But you start to lose your overwhelming bullishness about a new high coming if we start to lose that level. And then you got to take yourself back to, remember this chart I had for you guys right here, which I told you last week. I was like, there's a chance I'm going to be wrong on this. And we end up breaking this higher cycle. Well, guess what? This is why until things change, you got to keep your analysis in play. I told you guys way back in March, before the halving, do not be surprised if we dip into the halving. Oh, look at that. We dipped into the halving. Do not be surprised if we break out of the halving and maybe we trickle down towards 55. Maybe we even have a candle or two come up about 73. As a whole, though, watch for a lot of rejections up until August, September area around 71,000 and a lot of support around 60,000. And even though we flirted with this idea here about a week ago that we could break it, at the moment that looks like it could still be in play. So we'll have to continue to monitor that as well. Either way, though, this symmetrical triangle pattern is the most important thing we're watching right now. Let's see if it breaks to the upside or downside. That'll tell us a lot about what the next couple of weeks look like. Now, something to keep an eye on here as well is that we are currently still under the buy order. We hit the conservative take profit, but if it's time to come back down, now all of a sudden you're looking at 64,000. You're saying, all right, smart trail's right there. That smart trail on the daily chart's curving and looks like it wants to go to the downside. So we're going to need to see some bullishness come into play to cancel that out. But that's kind of further. If we break down, that smart trail probably going to lead it down here towards 61. Another reason to be bullish right now, though, again, staying up above 67. We got a nice breaker block there, giving us some extra support. So more reason why I still continue to look for that upward movement rather than downward movement. But if that's lost, again, if that's lost, 61, 62, keep an eye on them. Let's see what the oscillators are saying right now. I think there's further reason to be bullish right now based off the oscillators. Stochastic, super low, starting to curve the upside. RSI just came down. Didn't quite get to the 50, got close though, but saw a nice bounce on that area. That's pretty bullish. MACD, kind of indecisive. It looks like it wants to head back bullish on the daily chart. You'll love to see that. And then even though we're not going to have our trifecta here, right? We got our last reversal way back on May 11th. We are seeing a turn in the oscillator turning bullish and positive money flow. So again, I said all this to say I gave you a lot of levels that if things start to go bad, you're starting to watch out for somewhere between 64 to 62. But I'm seeing a lot of reasons to stay optimistic and bullish at the moment that Bitcoin's price should be breaking to the upside. Like at this point, if you're trying to bet the odds are still saying bullish looks like the better call than bearish at this standpoint. Let's check out what High Block is saying here. We have not looked at High Block in a while. Now I gotta type things in here, and I might even have to sign back in. Honestly, I haven't been using this in so long. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's unshare my screen for a second. You guys don't need to know my passwords and everything else. I know you guys want to, but just not for now. Maybe in the future. Maybe if you guys pay me $1 million, I'll give you all of my passwords to everything that I have. All right, let's go ahead and look back over here at High Block. I'm going to take a look at the 7-day first, and we'll change up and take a look at others here as well. We've removed a lot of liquidations here already, getting back up over 70K this morning. You can see that was like the only real bright yellow spot on the screen. You used to have some heavy yellow here at 66.7. I remember I told you that area could serve as some good support. After that, you start to see the next level of yellow down here towards 62. And even though we don't have yellow here, you do see light green, which is right under yellow, coming in above here at 74. Again, I told you 75 is interesting. Rarely do you stop right at the level, usually cross above it. But these are levels like above us, still levels where if we can get that high, we would be liquidating a lot of short positions, and the ones down below us, we could liquidate a lot of long positions. So we're not even seeing necessarily a whole heck of a lot of help here from High Block either. Let's see if the 1 month says, yeah, I've kind of split the middle here too. A lot of yellow above us up to 75. But also a lot of yellow that takes us all the way down to 60, even some down towards 55 again. I'm kind of out of the boat there. I don't think that 55 is in the play still, but I want you guys to know that's still technically here on the charts. So even more of a reason to kind of watch, just trying to sit on the sidelines right now on Bitcoin and just watch what the next couple of days looks like. We are coming to a decision point. We've got to make a decision to break up or break down. But again, with so much sitting right below us for support, I'm going to continue to lean a little more to the bullish side. Now, let's take a break here. Got into Bitcoin, did a lot. Let's do some Q&A here before I move on. Got 2 more topics I want to talk to you guys about. But first, we are up over 300 people watching. Thank you to everyone for being in here. Smash the like button if you guys are loving the show. And I want to remind you guys, with LuxAlgo, if you guys are looking to have not only an amazing trading indicator, but also get in and get more access to myself and our VIP trading group. We've got a lot of people signing up, a lot of great stuff going on. If you want to be a part of that and learn more about trading, make sure one of the ways you get in is by purchasing LuxAlgo with our link, which, by the way, when you guys do that, I want to make sure sometimes people buy it and then I think they click away and we don't end up getting credit. Make sure that when you click the link, you'll see this. don't go around and play in LuxAlgo. Click on the link, scroll down to the bottom, and then choose one of the levels you want to purchase. My recommendation, premium. I would recommend getting premium. That's where you get all the indicators. So go purchase that. Then if you send us a ticket with your email, I'll get you in to our VIP trading group. But shout out to LuxAlgo for that. Let's see what the chat is saying. Eric said, Tim, is it Beamer Brody 12 question mark? Is that my password? Next question. Let's see here. How do you handle the bear with alt crux? Okay, this is for crux. How do you handle the bear? I don't know what you're exactly asking there, Ion. BR Taxi said, Tim, I believe I remember you guys briefly mentioning Mint Layer one day. Would you go over it for a min thoughts on it now? Mint Layer, Mint Layer, Mint Layer, Mint Layer, Mint Layer. Do you remember the ticker for Mint Layer? I think we talked about it one time because we'd heard it in some circles. I had not heard much attention about Mint Layer recently. So I'm gonna hold off on that one for now, and especially the chart. It's such a newer project. The charts wouldn't do a lot for it. But I'll keep an ear to the ground. I'll kind of ask some more of my connections what their thoughts on Mint Layer are. A lot of people asking for ChainLink and Cardano, or the saying I don't know. I'll say this: I'm gonna be making a video tonight that will be going out tomorrow morning in place of the 9 a.m. live show. So while T-Stream's out, I'm gonna be posting some 9 o'clock videos, 9 a.m. videos. I'm making a video about Cardano in the morning. Someone says Cardano's breaking out right now. I would not call this a breakout. I'll show you the chart real fast. I'm not going to do too much analysis. I wouldn't call this a breakout. I mean, I would say a breakout would be getting back above 51. So if Cardano, while we are live, breaks above 51, let me know. We'll go take a look at it. But I would not call this a breakout at the moment. I will give you my thoughts on Cardano, though, in that video that will be going live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'm going to be talking about, guys, the topic of the video is Cardano dead? Like, is it time to give up on Cardano? I'm not gonna give you my answer until the video, so you got to watch 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Let's take a look at ChainLink really fast, and then we're gonna get into my next topic discussion. It happened last week, but we're gonna get into it. ChainLink starting to show a little bit of a move downward here on the daily chart. We hit our take profit. We got up here towards we got above 19 cents. Okay, I kind of said there was a chance we made it to $20. I said cents, didn't I? Meant $20. Didn't quite get there. Stopped around $19. And again, we're not seeing a sell order, but I guarantee if we go to the 4-hour chart, we will. And if that blue candle holds up here on the daily chart, would not be surprised to see a sell order flash tomorrow on LuxAlgo. Let's see what the oscillators are saying here. Yeah, bearish looking oscillator so far. Stochastic's getting back down close to being overextended, but has a ways to go. RSI approaching the 50, but has a ways to go. Bearish MACD cross. And right here, we don't have the flash necessarily yet to strong enter a sell on ChainLink, but we are seeing the red reversal dot, bearish momentum, and that money flow is sideways. So if we start to see weakness in the money flow with those things holding up, you might look at a potential short on ChainLink. Now, this one, again, I'm bullish on ChainLink, so what I'm doing is saying, all right, if there's a weakness, that weakness is possibly saying we're making it back down about $16, give or take. That's where we see the smart show concept. I think there's good reason to think that's probably a good place to bounce on ChainLink unless something else drastically bad happens. Yeah, we've been under a sell order here now on ChainLink for a little minute. Definitely, yeah. Okay, look at it here. Smart Trail. It's where you see confluence, but we have an order block and Smart Trail coming in here right below $17 as well. So even more of a reason to think like, hey, when we get into this spot right in here, $17 right below $16, right below $17, you got a lot of support coming on the 4-hour, a lot of support coming on the daily chart. I would say you're starting to feel good about a long there. Look at this. Stochastics, not positive yet, but very overextended. RSI getting closer down to being overextended down towards, it's at 35. So it's got room to go down, but it's getting close to be overextended. MACD is bearish, heading down. And again, we had a sell order here, like I told you guys a little bit ago. We had a nice sell order here on the LuxAlgo oscillator. Bearish reversal, bearish momentum, bearish money flow. You could have entered a short if you'd seen those flashes way back up here on 1870, give or take. And again, I think we're riding this down to about $17, just south of $17 before ChainLink gets a little bounce there. Long term, still very bullish. Just wait for all the news that will come out over the next 12 months about ChainLink. it will be very, very explosive, very, very bullish. Let's talk about something that is not necessarily bullish, but is a little interesting. This happened last week while we were down in Gainesville, Florida, getting ready for T-Shroom's wedding. So a lot of you have heard about this, but you've not heard my opinion. So now you get to hear my opinion. Now, you need to forgive this article title because it makes no sense. I'll show you the article. There's something at the end they throw in to try to make this happen, but I like the information in this article. I was reading through it. It's going to give us some good details that I want to use as discussion points. But U.S. President Joe Biden's administration went from anti-crypto to full degen in 1 month. Clickbait. Did not happen. And almost nothing in this article says anything about this. Like, it's all about how Joe Biden's anti-crypto until the very end, and we'll get there. I'll show you where the writer's going to try to come off with a little excuse. But you would look on this and you'd be like, wait a minute, Joe Biden's pro-crypto now? Joe Biden's supporting like meme coins or something? Nothing about it. Nothing about it. It actually focuses on all the negativity. What is negativity? Well, of course, the news here at the end of the week was another veto from the Biden administration. Let's talk about some of the details. We're going to talk about a little bit of history and then get into the details. On May 16th, the U.S. Senate voted to pass Resolution 109, HJ Resolution 109, a resolution to overturn the Securities and Exchange Commission, that's the SEC's controversial staff accounting bulletin number 121. Despite Congress passing the resolution, it did not secure enough votes to be veto-proof. Before the passage, Biden vowed to veto it. His administration argues that overturning the SB 121 would weaken the SEC's ability to protect investors and financial systems from crypto-related risks. The SEC has been nothing but a risk to the crypto holders. It's been nothing but a risk to all American holders, but yet we need them to protect us. Okay, good to know, Biden. It keeps on. You know, we got to continue to track this record here. The record of Joe Biden going from anti-crypto to pro-crypto. Let's find out more about it. On May 22nd, the House of Representatives passed the Financial Innovations and Technology for the 21st Century Act, introduced on July 23rd, 2023, excuse me. The bill aims to define the roles of the SEC and Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, in overseeing cryptocurrencies. Great bill. Great idea. We need clarity on it because that's been the biggest confusion with the SEC wielding their power to literally getting fined because they're wielding their power too much. But yeah, this is a good bill. And of course, the White House again opposed the bill, citing consumer and investor protection concerns. You're starting to see something here with Joe Biden and Gary Gensler being a little bit of buddy-buddy, and maybe this is even more so. We knew Elizabeth Warren, Auntie Beth, was pro-Gary Gensler and kind of working with him in the background, but it's very much looking like Biden was. I mean, not that we're really surprising anybody here, but there hadn't been a whole heck of a lot of evidence, and I think we got a lot more evidence now with them defending Gary Gensler's arguments being their verbatim reason for denying these bills. SEC Gary Gensler stated his opposition to the FIT 21. Gensler argues the bill undermines classifying crypto assets as investment contracts. This change would remove the assets from the SEC's oversight. Exactly what we want. We want that removed, making it harder to protect investors. All right, Gary. Following the passage of HJ Resolution 109 and FIT 21, the crypto industry saw the U.S. House of Representatives pass the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act on May 23rd. This bill aims to amend the Federal Reserve Act to prevent central banks or CBDCs from being, or central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, from being used for monetary policy or direct consumer services. Now, we have not gotten a reversal on this necessarily. We have not seen Biden veto this one, but the good reason for that is because ultimately, as Patrick McHenry claims here, he talks about the comparisons to the Chinese CCP and others having a surveillance state. I think that there's people in Congress and Senate that actually probably are not that opposed to that, but it's just too early. We're in a crazy world right now, but it's too early for them to say, yeah, we need to mimic China. No one is going to say that and keep their position in Washington yet. That could happen in the future. Ultimately, let's see where I want to get with this. That was pretty much the article. So it's just showing you all the places where Biden is defending the SEC's decision making, kind of showing us literally Gary Gensler is not afraid whatsoever, because even though he knows Congress hates him and he knows the Senate hates him and he knows you, the people, we, the people of America hate him, he's got a puppet sitting in the White House that he can just get to veto the bills to leave him with power. Even more of a reason for you guys to show up and vote this fall. Vote for whoever you want to. There's clear decisions to be made, though. Last week, Biden report. This is the only part that maybe you could say something bullish here for Biden. Last week, Biden reportedly began engaging with crypto industry players as a part of his re-election campaign. So even the article is acknowledging he's not pro-crypto. He's just realizing that he's losing voters left and right, and he needs to do something. So he's met with them. Starting over 2 weeks ago, the re-election team contacted several crypto experts, including those previously distanced by Biden. Now, that is all about it. In this article, I didn't feel like reading through it. It addresses, obviously, Trump coming out here extremely pro-crypto, but yet the title of the article was President Joe Biden's administration went from anti-crypto to full degen in 1 month. Clickbait. I mean, that's clickbait. He's not pro-crypto. He's just having conversations because the man wants votes. He's not getting them. Ultimately, we kind of broke it down as I went through the article here, but it's very clear here that Gary Gensler is holding on by a string, and that string is named Joe Biden. He's being defeated. He's not going to win, but Joe Biden keeps working him out. This is further proof. Day one. Again, I don't see a road where Joe Biden wins again. Even people here, and I want you guys to know, we've talked about this before. I respect everyone's opinion on everything. There are people who disagree with me that I still say, you know what? You have strong reasons for what you believe in. Some of us in here are probably registered Republicans. Some of us in here are probably registered Democrats. Some of us are moderates. Some of us are come from a lot of different backgrounds. I would be surprised, though, if anyone in this chat is walking away saying, no, I'm still extremely pro-Biden. You might not be pro-Trump. You might say, like, oh, there's things about RFK I don't like. But I think most of us have come to the conclusion is like, all right, anyone but Biden, and then we'll probably split. Some of us probably think Trump. Some of us probably think RFK. Ultimately, we all, I think, are on the same page. The unity that America needs right now is we are all anti-Joe Biden. Could be wrong. Maybe some of you are in here. And guess what? I want you to know, if you're a supporter of Joe Biden, that doesn't mean I hate you. That doesn't mean I want to disrespect you. If you have your reason for voting for him, hey, go to the poll and vote the way you want to vote. I'll tell you, very destructive vote. I think the evidence out there that he's everyone always talks about, oh, that president was the worst president in history. Oh, that president was the worst president. This president was the best. Debates could be had. I don't think there's much of a debate, though, that Joe Biden was the worst president in American history. The things that he has done, everyone from left and right can all agree he's the worst president we have seen for a plethora of reasons. Not even left and right, reasons. More like he's just incompetent and he's too old and he doesn't have what he needs to be here. I'm not going to get too political. I've gotten super political, but I'm going to pause on my politicalization. Again, we kind of tell everyone, if you guys are sitting here saying, oh, we don't like politics, only talk crypto. Well, we went through the article, guys, in case you hadn't noticed, crypto is an extremely political issue. So even though I would, if I could choose to leave politics out of crypto talk 100%, I would do it in a heartbeat. Trust me. The problem is you can't. You have to talk politics if you want to be serious about trying to gauge what crypto is about to do. And if Joe Biden stays in office, crypto's in trouble. We saw in this article. If he leaves, that's when we see the signs of turning things the way they're supposed to go in the right direction. Last one here before we get into just a full-blown Q&A. I honestly am very surprised that it's already 4 o'clock and I am only to my fourth point. So tomorrow I'll know 3 points, Tim. Yet 3 points to talk about, and that's it. Real quick chat. Username says, Tim, I'm historically always correct, and I agree with you. Okay, interesting. Joe Bianchi says, you may not be interested in politics, but politics are interested in you. John, I 100% agree with that. Eric Wallen wants a freaking jelly bean, is what he's saying right there. Thank you, Eric Wallen. Everyone loves jelly beans, although I'm not eating them anymore because I'm not eating sugar. Let's get into the last one. Again, I'm going to kind of be brief here. Got a tweet over here from Watcher.Guru. If you guys don't follow Watcher.Guru, highly recommend this Twitter page. Great news updates. In fact, actually, there's a couple things here. Binance, I don't know if you saw this. I'm not going to dwell on it. Just wanted you guys to know. CZ begins prison sentence in California today, so that's interesting. big, they've put the Bitcoin one over 70,000. Of course, it's now back down below. But here we go. Just in GameStop, GME, and AMC Entertainment stock trading halted due to volatility. Now, let's go take a look here. I bring this up because if you guys are trading, I'm not trading them. I don't know why other people are trading them. They are the stock meme coins, essentially. But some of you are. And the reason I want to bring these up, let's turn off LuxAlgo for a second, is because this is like deja vu. If you guys have been in crypto for more than 4 years, like myself, this is deja vu. Anyone who's new, you might be like, what's the drama here? What's the details? This all happened a little less than 4 years ago with AMC and GME. We saw during the beginning of the crypto bull market this explosion in price action like you're seeing right here, right? We saw it happen back, where was it? Where's my volume going to tell me? Do I need to go look at, maybe, oh yeah, okay, way back here. Boom, there we go. Way back here, beginning of 2021, back in January of 2021, we saw the first leg, and we had a pullback, and then we saw a wrestle the upside. But it was the same stuff. Just massive amount of people trading AMC and GME for no reason other than the meme itself. Then the reason why a lot of people hate Robinhood to this day, even though I think Robinhood's kind of fixed a lot, Robinhood shuts down trading. Prices crash. People get really upset. It continues to wrestle, even going to a new high later that year in June. But as a whole, that's AMC right there. Let's look at GME. They did similar things right here where, again, it's not like people are buying exorbitant amount of video games, and that's why, or going to the movies a lot, and that's why things are exploding. It's really just the meme of it all. We got to go to the weekly chart, I guess, to get this correct information. Oh, wait. Yeah, there we go. Okay. There we go. It's just for the meme of it all. People are exploding the price. Things get locked out, and it's shut down. Now, I'm not going to make too much observation here other than the fact that, again, if you look at the history of this, and actually, let's go back to the daily chart. That's going to give me a better angle here. The history of this is you have that initial pump, the big fall down, and then the second pump. GME did not set a new high as we were looking at for AMC. It did. I'm not going to go too much further into it because ultimately, I think that trading these things are kind of silly. Again, it's if you're going to trade this, and you might as well go trade memes. And you guys heard my thought about memes last week. I don't need to repeat it. AMC actually did go on to set a new high later on in June. Either way, though, the big pump, fall back, second pump action. Technically speaking, I think the AMC and GME can both go to the upside here. What's my point, though? Again, this all happened way back in January of 2021. Guys, what happened in January of 2021? It was the beginning of the crazy alt season. You go back to Cardano. I'm not saying things weren't pumping before then, right? So Cardano obviously dropped way back in March 2020, had this nice rally here, is rallying all throughout December, but something happens in January of 2021, and Cardano and other altcoins take off like rockets. We saw it happen with Cardano. We saw it happen with Ethereum here on the daily chart again. Actually, Ethereum started to pump in December, but again, January is still a very, very good month for Ethereum. It was actually more things like Matic, I think, began to have a nice pump there in 2021 in January. Yeah, right here. Boom. Big explosion down here. December, boring. January, explosion. If you were to just take a look at total, let's go to total 3 and not include Ethereum, this just tells you what altcoins look like. Is there bullishness before this time period? Yes, but it gets parabolic in the end of January of 2021. That coincides with all of this madness around the time period of GME and AMC. My point here, could we potentially see altcoins start to explode? I showed you altcoins earlier that I think are looking really, really good. We talked about here, what have we had happen recently? We've had ChainLink show signs of life here in the last couple of weeks. Is it where we want it to be at the end of the day? No. We want to see it get a lot higher. But after kind of boring nothingness happening in ChainLink, ChainLink starts to show life back here mid-May. Today, Kaspa is starting to kind of show life again. Well, the reason that's significant is because even if you're taking your attention to just right now in this bull market, ChainLink and Kaspa were the ones that mostly kicked off all of the hype for everything we saw between Q4 and end of Q1 of this year. Q4 last year, Q1 of this year. My point is, are we seeing some signs pop up? ChainLink pumped, Kaspa's pumping. AMC and GME chaos and drama are happening again. These are all signs of bullishness saying, man, could the altcoin space be about to go crazy once again? Let me know in chat what you guys think. It's deja vu right now in my head. I remember the time. I remember the chaos. I remember the people wanting to boycott Robinhood and boycott everything in the stock market. Boycott Wall Street. And then the madness of altcoins took off. It was a good feeling. It was a good year in 2021 after all that stuff happened. And I would love to see it happen again. 410. Guys, we gotta wrap out the show here. Let's get some Q&A, and then we will wrap it up. Look for my Cardano video in the morning, 9 a.m. Instead of news, I will be discussing and give you my thoughts on if Cardano is dead and if you need to move on from it. Logistics 1 said, Brett's moving nice on my $100 3X. Okay. Brett. Little trade, Brett. Let's see what else do we have here. Username 88 chart is always the best chart to show alt season. It just the main reason, if you guys are wondering why I showed Cardano, is because Cardano was the best altcoin performer. I do not think Cardano repeats history. I'm not gonna tell you too much about what I saw talk about in the video, but I don't see Cardano being the #1 altcoin gainer again, and I'll explain that in my video. Eric Wallen's go ahead and settling it for us. He says 88 is dead. All right. Even though it's his largest holding, Eric Wallen he's a Cardano maxi. He's trying to get all of you guys to sell your Cardano to him because he wants to buy some more of it. Let's see. Is Mana dead? I don't know. I have not even thought about Mana here in a little minute. So I'll have to look into that one. I will say there are a lot of coins in that kind of purview that probably are not great. Username says 88 isn't dead, it just doesn't move. That's what we call stable coins. So we welcome them to the XRP pack or something. To be fair, we're trying to get Eric Wallen to diversify. Yeah, we're really trying to get him to diversify. Mana, XLM, 88, Matic, VeChain, all making me sad, says Lion in my pocket. Yeah, I can't argue with you. Matic, Matic's back. It's only at 71 cents after being back at $1 here more recently. I can't tell you much about Mana, and I'll be honest with you. The more I wane on XRP, the more I wane on XLM having big gains. As far as 88, Matic, and VeChain, I still have high hopes on things doing somewhat good. I just gave away some of my answer. All right. Well, you still have to listen to the video. Matic and VeChain, though, I'm not necessarily freaking out about them just yet. Is there a Stacks price prediction coming? Yes, there is a Stacks price prediction coming. That'll probably be one of the 9 a.m. videos, honestly, this week. Again, I'm not able to do a live news show like T-Shroom is, but I can put out content, so you still can come in every day at 9 a.m. and get some good content for your crypto education. Guys, I think that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. Had an absolute blast being here with you guys. Smash the like button on your way out. And if you have not done already, hit subscribe. I forgot. We hit 19,000 subscribers this weekend. That means it's time for a giveaway. And you know what the problem is? There's only 250 in here, 250 of you in here. So it means there are very few of you that know what's about to happen. You guys got to go over and join our free Discord. Check the link out down below. Go join our Discord. And I will announce one winner tomorrow on the live show. And to enter, you have to say, why does Eric love Cardano? I will choose one of you guys, and you will win $100. With that said, love you guys. See you tomorrow. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that vanity cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, catch a word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that vanity cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.